Today, we're going to be learning about proportions and relating this to grading. So let's assume that there is a 100 question test, and each question is worth the same number of points for a total of 100 points. If a student misses one question, what is their grade? If a student misses two questions, what is their grade? If a student misses 5 questions, what is their grade? So, if there's 100 questions and 100 points, each question is 1 point. So if a student misses one question, they get 1 point taken off, which is a 99. If a student misses 2 questions, that's 2 points off, which is a 98. If a student misses 5 questions, that's 5 points off, that's a 95. Now let's assume that there's a 50 question test for a total of 50 points. If a student misses 1 question, what is their grade? 2 questions, what is their grade? 5 questions, what is their grade? So now, if there's 50 questions for a total of 50 points, if they miss 1 question, it's like they've made a 49 out of 50. So really, each question is worth 2 points if I'm looking at 100 points total. Yes, the test is worth 50 points, but if I'm trying to convert that to a letter grade, I have to think, okay, 50 goes into 100 2 times, so really everything's worth 2 points. So if a student misses 1 question, that's 49 out of 50. If a student misses 2 questions, that's 48 out of 50. And if a student misses 5 questions, that's 45 out of 50. So respectively, that's a 98, a 96, and a 90. Look at these 2 graphs. I want you to find similarities and differences. So similarities, I see that they're straight. They start at the origin, but they have different slopes. So these are proportional relationships. The ratio between 2 quantities is always equivalent. So please stop the video and reflect. Is this a fair grading policy to have every question be worth the same amount of points? Okay, so we looked at proportional relationships, straight lines that go through the origin. These are relationships that are not proportional. First, looking at the graphs. The one on the left is a grading system that some teachers at West use, where the lowest grade you can make is a 50. And then when you hit, I think it's a 55, then, you're making the grade that you do, but otherwise, you can't make below 50. So this is not proportional because it's not a straight line and it doesn't go through the origin. Looking at the second scenario, it is a straight line, but it doesn't go through the origin. This is what happens when, honestly, some teachers want a nice round number point system-wise instead of having something out of like 28 points. And they're like, oh, just add 2 points for their name. So students start, already with 2 points without having done any work. Okay, let's look at some tables that are not proportional. So if I look at the first table, it's going up by 4, so it's a constant rate, but it doesn't start at the origin. So again, that's like giving students bonus points. Here we're going up by 5s, which is a straight line, but it doesn't start at the origin. This one does start at the origin, but I'm adding 2, then adding 4, then adding 8, so that is not proportional. So we can conclude that something is proportional if it's a straight line, constant adding, goes through the origin, or starts at 0. It's not proportional if it doesn't do these things. So curved line, adding or subtracting different numbers, and does not start at 0. So I want you to stop and kind of think about this and reflect. What is the best grading practice? Do you think every question should be the same amount of points? Like the more questions you get right, the more values they are. Is it fair to start at 0? The lowest grade you make is a 0. Should the lowest grade you make be something else? Think about some pros and cons to the different grading practices that we studied today.